Good afternoon and welcome to the Wavy Digital Desk. Today we have Nikki Southall here from the city of Norfolk. We're going to be speaking about the 11th Annual Neighborhood Expo that Norfolk is having this Saturday. It's going to be a great event. It's all day. It's from 11 to 3. So we're going to jump in and hear all about it. So Nikki, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon.
Oh, thanks for having me. I appreciate you having me on today to talk about the expo.
Absolutely. And this has been something that you all, of course, have been planning for a while because, and we'll jump to it in a second, but there are awards involved in this afternoon, which is really exciting. But, for people who haven't been able to attend the last 10 events, what is it? What is the Neighborhood Expo? What is it celebrating?
Well, the Neighborhood Expo started out on a much smaller scale, but with the same focus, which is to celebrate Norfolk's neighborhoods. The city of Norfolk really thinks that what makes neighborhoods great are the people that live in it. And so what we like to do is highlight those neighborhoods, highlight the civic leagues that are doing civic engagement work. And so it's grown over the years from a very small group to now what we see is just about 50 exhibitors that are going to be joining us, everybody from city departments to nonprofits, youth organizations, and civic leagues. And we get together and we celebrate and we talk about how we network and communicate with people. We think that that's a really big part of what it means to be in a neighborhood is the connections that you make. And so having an expo like this really highlights that civic engagement and how you create those partnerships. So every year it's just grown and grown. And I think this is going to be our biggest year yet. So we're excited.
Absolutely. So over 10 years, this has become really a staple for you all to host this event. Is this the first year that it's at Northside, or is that the place that it's been all these 10 years?
Actually, no. So this is the second year we've had the expo at Northside Park. 2 years prior to that, we had it at Lakewood Park, and then we took a break because of COVID. And then prior to that, we housed it at Military Circle Mall for quite a few years. It was inside, lots of space, and things change. COVID happened. We had to postpone it, and then we were challenged with kind of putting together the expo in an outdoor format. And so we looked at spaces that we could host it, and we said, well, let's do it at a neighborhood park. And we loved working with Northside Park so much. The space, it was just a great location. So we're having it again at Northside Park this year.
Well, how perfect to have it in a neighborhood, to have it right in
Yes.
Norfolk so people can just happen upon it, hopefully on the weekend, or if you know about it, hopefully it's right in your backyard. But, can you just tell us a little bit about some of the activities and just for visitors, viewing the chat right now, you're going to see some photos provided by the city of Norfolk that show a previous event. So this can give you a taste of, what you'll see on Saturday. But, Nikki, tell us what kind of events, what kind of activities are there going to be?
Absolutely. So, of course, we'll have exhibitors with all kinds of information, things that people will be giving out to get them more engaged in your organization or city department or nonprofit. We have activity stations, and we also have, which I think is really good, which highlights our programming that we've really focused on this year, is youth engagement. A lot of times we go to civic leagues and we go to community organizations and they'll say, we want more young people to be involved. This year, what we've done is really challenge ourselves with the programming to include youth groups. And we focused on a couple of our youth groups, which is Gear Recovery and the Clean Organization, are both housed in the South Side area of Norfolk. They've been actually part of the programming. We had learned early on that young people not just don't want to be told what to do, but they want to participate. And so we've leaned on them to be a part of the planning process of the expo. So they'll actually be leading some of the activities that we'll be having, our creative corner, our mindfulness corners, because Gear Recovery focuses on mental health, which is really important for youth. So we brought them to the fold and came up with creative ways for them to have activities and share with people that are going to be coming to the expo. So that's one of the ideas that we're having. Also just networking and engaging with people. And we have an activity where if you go around all of the tables, you get to use a little sticker They put your sticker on your program, and then that's how you're eligible to receive a raffle prize. We've got some really good prizes from our partners around the city of Norfolk that we're giving away. And I just see a picture coming up right now. We have food trucks, and so that's another incentive as well, and fun thing. So we have food, we have entertainment. We'll have a drum line performing. We'll have our seniors line dancing from Prime Plus performing. We have a DJ. We have activities. It's just a great way to network and have a good time. And it's all free. And so we really hope that people come out. And if you don't know about the expo, or if you've not been there, or you want to know what more neighborhoods are doing in their communities, this is a great way to come out and see different things from a different perspective.
Absolutely. And to go back to, the first thing that you said, I think it's very unique that, the youth are involved in planning it, and how exciting that they can, have their, sort of hand in what's going on in the neighborhood. Because I think we think of adults being neighbors, but kids are neighbors too, and they hang out with their friends at school. But, you don't always get to meet everyone in those social groups that you sort of end up with. So how nice of an opportunity for them to sort of be a part of the neighborhood too.
Absolutely. We thought it was really important. We had a event earlier on in the year. We called it our summer mixer, and we had it at the Assembly Building on the rooftop, and it was a wonderful event. We had youth come and talk about things that were engaging to them. We had activities on thought walls, writing things down about what they thought were important to them. And so when we came back after that event, we said, man, that was such a great event. That was so nice that they were really engaged. And we said, we really need to include them in on doing the planning for the expo. So they've been with us every step of the way. The people that are the advisors that are putting these organizations together have stayed involved, and they're really intentional about making sure that they're part of this program. And it's exciting because it does show that level of the next generation of thought leaders and civic engagement. You have to start at a level that they understand and include them, right? Because they have ideas and they have thoughts, and they're excited about volunteering. And so it's really nice to see them be a part of the expo.
Right, definitely. And then, going to the next part that you said, food trucks, there's activities, and everyone knows that it's a great way to sort of commune, to get together, is over food, over music, and some of these, fun activities as well. So, and then are these local food trucks, or these food trucks from the area of Hampton Roads?
Yes, there are local food trucks that we've worked with one before. Another food truck, we have DC Smoothies who is coming, and Crazy Trompos who is attending. And then we actually have a Penguin Snowballs, who was one of our first original Uplift winners. And I know you're probably going to want to know more about that, but the Uplift Awards, she was one of our original Uplift winners that won the first time we had it. And she has a snowball location, and so she has a mobile cart. She's going to be bringing snowballs to people. So we thought that was really nice to reach back to a local business that was so impactful in the community that they actually won an award that year. And so she's going to be serving snowballs. So that's going to be fun.
That's great, and that's full circle. So yes, I mean, great segue into what Uplift Awards is. Can you just tell us? I know that it actually stands for something, so I think it'd be great to hear.
Uplift Awards is so cool. I'm smiling really hard because I love it. So the Uplift Award stands for Unity, Public Service, Leadership, Innovation, Friendship, and Teamwork. So that's Uplift. So we were challenged during COVID to come up with a way to recognize people during the tough times of COVID, right? That everything was shut down. And this was a spinoff of an event that we had previously in conferences where we would just give out regular awards. And so we couldn't do that, right? We were stuck inside. We were challenged to figure out how do we recognize people. So we came up with the Uplift Awards. And the cool thing about the Uplift Awards is that it's a peer-to-peer nomination. If you find somebody in your community that does great things, an individual, a nonprofit, a small business, an organization, a place of worship, a civic league, a civic leader, a police officer, anybody that you think might be deserving of an award, we could put out a nomination form, and there goes the police officers right there. And so you get to put out the award, and it's a peer-to-peer nomination. As long as you meet the criteria, you get that award. And so we've been doing this now for this will be our third year. And to date, we've given out 72. And that's peer to peer. That's not us picking it and saying that you qualify or don't qualify. And so I think the magic about the Uplift Awards is really recognizing that people see themselves in each other and they get to recognize each other for the great things that they do. So our nominations are closed. We've got our winners, and they will be announced at the expo at 2:00. So that's the last hour of the expo. We'll have our award ceremony, and everybody will get their awards.
Well, how cool. I mean, how unique that, it started during COVID when people weren't really able to be a part of their neighborhood. And this gives you a chance to not only connect through the Uplift Awards, but also nominate people in your community. And as you said, it's one thing for you all if they meet certain standards to be given an award, but to have your neighbor actually recommend you and nominate you, that has to be so meaningful and exciting for, the winners, especially this year.
Yes, and we not jokingly, but we said we have to have a red carpet. And so we have a red carpet, and the look of joy and just pride that people do when they have on their faces when they're going down the red carpet, there goes the red carpet, to receive their award, and just, thanking them for their selfless acts of service. And that's actually what it says on the award. Thank you for your selfless acts of service. It could be something as simple as your next door neighbor who went above and beyond to make sure that the senior next door got their grass cut every week or every month, to an organization that really is focused on youth engagement. So we're really excited for this round because it does show the diversity of Norfolk. It shows the uniqueness of Norfolk. And again, it really does show what makes Norfolk great, which is the residents and the neighborhood. So we're really excited for this year's round of Uplift winners.
Right. And that example you gave of, just cutting someone's grass, it seems small, but I'm sure that adds up so much to somebody's life.
It does. And that's really what we focus on in our Department of Neighborhood Services is civic engagement and capacity building. So what one might think is a very small thing, it really does add up to the neighborhood standards that you have, the leadership that you hold in your community. A lot of times when you're talking to people, they might say, well, the city needs to do X, Y, and Z. And we push back and challenge and say, let's talk about what residents can do with the capacity that they have. And that's where we step in on our team in neighborhood engagement. We recognize that some neighborhoods might be a little farther along in their capacity and others need help, but that's why we're here. We give all kinds of tools and leadership skills and training and classes through our Neighbors Building Neighborhoods Academy. And so what happens is that you get to celebrate those small successes, you get to celebrate those wins, and then we've had a lot of our civic leagues come to the expo to talk about the things that they've done throughout the year so they can show other neighborhoods, this is what you do if you put some work into it. We have grants that are available for civic leagues. They've done really great things with those grants, and they get the chance to really show those off as well. So it's really good. So going back to what you said, one small thing can really make a difference when it comes to the health and wellness of a neighborhood.
Definitely. And then, this year's theme, I want to make sure we get to that too. It's Ignite. Can you just tell us, what does that mean in terms of community in Norfolk?
Ignite 2023 really focuses on creating that spark that you need in your community. What is that thing that keeps you going? What's that spark that says, I'm going to get up and activate and be part of a greater part of my community? And what can I do? And so we've held that theme throughout the entire year. We have 3 signature events that we work on throughout the year. The first is our leadership breakfast that we host for our Civic League presidents and board members, because Civic League members and leaders, they do it for free. It's volunteer. So we come up with this leadership breakfast to really give them that charge. And so we start off with our theme. This year's theme was Ignite. Talk about that spark. What's that thing that keeps you going? And what do you want to do to continue that light and that fire? And then we decided that recognizing that really including youth is really part of that spark continues with the intergenerational partnership. So we've continued that theme throughout the year. And this year when the expo comes, I'm really happy to see the amount and the kind of exhibitors that are becoming. So hopefully when you come out to Northside Park on Saturday, you'll have a chance to light that fire in you and ignite and spark something that's going to help you move forward in your neighborhood as well.
Absolutely. And I know it's in the city of Norfolk and that's where the community is, that's where the park is, but I did want to ask and just make
Hmm.
sure, it's free and open to all. So you all
Hmm.
also want people from Hampton Roads to stop by to join.
Absolutely. Norfolk is unique that we're one of the only neighborhoods, excuse me, only cities in the region that really has a dedicated neighborhood engagement team that goes out and interfaces with the public the way that we do. But we believe that civic engagement and social capacity can be spread beyond the areas of Norfolk. So if there's something that you see, something that it inspires you to spark your community and you live in another neighboring city, that's wonderful. You just have to tell them where you got it from. Tell them you got it from Norfolk. But I think it's great because once you have engaged residents all over, it makes for a better community, makes for a better city, makes for a better region, makes for a better nation and a better world. So every little bit helps. We are happy to share our secrets.
And then hopefully they'll take it on, as you said, to the next city.
Absolutely.
Well, Nikki, we have a question, just asking about some specifics of the
Okay.
exhibitors that are going to be there. If you could share, just a few of some of the groups that might be out there.
Yeah, so two of the groups that I talked about earlier are Gear Recovery and Clean Youth Organization that are based in Southside. We also have a couple of groups. We have TRS Kids, which is a TRS Kids Foundation, is a youth group. I believe we also have a Black Girls Tennis Club coming. We have we have the planning department from the city of Norfolk that's going to be talking about our Plan 2050 project. We also have Officer Resilience, Keep Norfolk Beautiful. We have a crowd favorite, which everybody loves, is the Norfolk Master Gardeners. We also have other organizations that focus on engagement. And in our civic leagues, we have a good handful of civic leagues that are going to be coming. So, along with some of these nonprofit organizations that are going to be coming in to talk about their services, there's also a lot of youth organizations that will be there and city departments. The Wagon Wheels, which is really popular for pet adoption, will be there for the city of Norfolk, along with the Department of Neighborhoods of Human Services, Fire and Rescue. A lot of interactive activities for people. So it's going to be a great place to get lots of information and networking. If you're into that kind of thing, to find out what kind of things are happening in the city, this is definitely a place to get networking. As I said, we have just about, I think, over 50 exhibitors, and of course, our department will be there, Department of Neighborhood Services, to be able to give people information about the city of Norfolk as well.
I was just going to say, wow, what a lineup of people that, you can interact with, that you can learn more information from. And they seem to be groups, too, obviously, that are about the neighborhood, about making the neighborhood, come together, whether it's the activities, whether it's just getting resources. So, I mean, that's really special to have over 50, groups just available to you all in one place, too. I think that helps a lot to bring them to the neighborhood. It's hard to make those calls and find information on your own sometimes. So to have a resource available, public, free, and open to all event is really special.
Yes, and we're looking forward to it. Sharing is caring. So all the information that we receive, we want to give out to our residents, and then that way they can use the tools in their toolkit to create better communities for where they want to live. And that's what's important to us. And starting at such a young age and really engaging with these youth groups and teenagers that are willing to take a weekend and actually a few days out of their life because they've been planning this, but really volunteering and making sure that they're part of it. We really are looking forward to them, and we want to make sure that we give them the opportunity to continue that community engagement and civic participation.
Definitely. And I want to know, the map above your head is the neighborhoods of Norfolk. And
That's right. There it
oh,
goes.
yeah. And I just think, it's just nice to end on too, why is this so important to the city of Norfolk, to you as well, being a citizen, being involved in your neighborhoods, getting to know people in other neighborhoods of Norfolk, why is this goal so important?
That's really important, and thank you for asking that question. Um, Getting involved in your neighborhood or just knowing the inner workings, or not even the inner workings, just basic information about the city is important. As you saw, the map behind my head. well, that way, the map behind my head is a breakdown of all of the neighborhood areas that we serve. So we call them neighborhood service areas. And each neighborhood development specialist on our team has about at least 15 to 20 neighborhoods. Norfolk has just over 120 neighborhoods in the city. That's a lot of people, a lot of different perspectives, and a lot of ways to engage. Making connections in your community really does make for a better neighborhood and understanding of what the things that you can do within your toolkit. A lot of times there'll be conversations that we have with residents about they have an issue with somebody, or they have an issue with something, or maybe they just don't know who to call if their street light is out, or if they need information about how to obtain a city service. Your neighbors are there to help you. And so when you educate yourself and then you share that information with others, you can have that network, right? And then that way it doesn't seem so much the city does for me, but the city also assists, but we also can do for ourselves and teach people about what it means to be a good neighbor. And also setting those neighborhood standards about things that you want to have in your community. Engagement. Maybe you want to have a summer picnic. Maybe you want to have a readathon. Maybe you want to have people to volunteer at your local school, or go to your local library, or use the local city facilities that Parks and Recreations and the Libraries Department offers. These are all tools and things that you can use within your community. Schedule civic league meetings, schedule community meetings, volunteer with the youth group. There are so many different ways to utilize your assets. And that's an important thing. Our department doesn't look at things from a deficit model. We look at it from an asset-based model, which is helpful because that means we're always looking for the positive.
Definitely. Well, Nikki, thank you so much. And I think this seems like such a special event. And I was just going to add, right now the weather's lovely. We can be outside in the parks, but soon it's not. And so what a good time as well to meet your neighbors, to maybe make some more connections if you don't have them, especially if you're new to the city. And then you can carry those on, for the rest of the year.
Absolutely. And we always encourage new and old residents to visit the city website, look us up for neighborhood services. You can have a list of all of the neighborhood development specialists that is in your area. Each area has a neighborhood development specialist that serves you. And so you can always contact us and reach out to us and find out if you have an active civic league or not, or if you just want to get information about the city as a whole. We're here to serve and help. We like to call ourselves the conduit between residents and the city. But if you're in town or right down the street or in another part of the neighborhood in Norfolk, we hope to see you at the expo this Saturday, because we'll all be there and you'll have some fun. You'll have some food. You might win a prize or two and get to meet some new people. So we really do hope that people come out and enjoy themselves. The weather is perfect. I think Super Doppler 10 said it's going to be one of the best days ever in September.
We'll make sure. We'll make sure they do, right?
That's right. We love good weather. So yes, we're really excited, and we really thank you giving me the opportunity to talk about the expo and the Uplift Awards.
Absolutely. And, just if you're watching this conversation later, if you're watching it now on some of our other platforms other than Facebook, there's going to be more information available on wavy.com with the link to the expo to get more information about where it is, see the address and more, and hopefully keep it on your calendar for this coming Saturday. So, Nikki, thank you so much for joining us, and look forward to hearing about your event.
Thank you so much, Sarah. And if you're not busy, I want to see you at the expo. It's at Northside Park, 8400 Tidewater Drive, from 11 to 3. The weather's perfect, and I hope that I get to see you and some other folks out there at the park on Saturday.
Absolutely. Well, Nikki, thank you so much, and thank you for joining us.
Thank
today.
you so much.
Thank you.
All right.